Hi there YouTube, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa the PFJ here. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday today. Let's get right into the videos. I hope you guys are having a good one. What I'm going to be doing today is a response to a poll that I put up on my community, on my channel the other day, and even though there wasn't a huge response to it, there was a response nonetheless, which I'm all just as equally grateful for, so thank you very much. And I'm going to be covering the two topics which were the ones that were highlighted in the poll today, one of which is the story we have right in front of us, which I'll get straight into. So Kumail Nanjiani, the actor and comedian who I think for most people might be most recognised from shows like Silicon Valley, and he was in the recent remake of The Twilight Zone that was done by Jordan Peele. He also was in the not so successful Marvel outing of Eternals last year. I think most people probably even only remember him from that, from the pre and post workout images that he put out where he got shredded for that role. If you're going to be well known for something, it might as well be that, right? Just show everybody your gains. But what he's come into attention recently was an interview that he did where he, as you can see by the headline in front of you, has been told that people don't want to cast non-white actors as villains. Now, there's a little bit more to this, and I want to go straight off the bat and say that the framing right from the very beginning of the article by the Hollywood Reporter in front of us is a little bit on the misleading side, in my opinion anyway. What it starts off saying is that Kumail Nanjiani says Hollywood is still limiting the kinds of roles actors of colour can play. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what is being hinted at by Kumail Nanjiani when he speaks here, but I think that might be a little bit of putting words into the guy's mouth as the quote goes on. And I'll only show you I won't read loads of the article, but I'll read you portions of it that will be show where the relevance is, and we can pull apart what it is that he's saying. And he says, I think that Hollywood now, even though they're trying to be more diverse, is still weird, the actor told Esquire UK. The article notes Nanjiani believes that the problem is good intentions can sometimes lead to misguided solutions. If the bad guy is a brown guy, what message is that sending? And that's just as limiting as anything else, Nanjiani said. I want to play more bad guys. He pointed to actor Sebastian Stan, who plays Marvel superhero The Winter Soldier, as well as a cannibal in the 2022 movie Fresh. He does these big Marvel movies and then he'll play a psychopath, he says. I was told that's going to be hard because people don't want to cast non-white people as bad guys. Now, depending on how much you know and how much you might be aware of by how Hollywood seems to operate these days, he does have a point in that if you've noticed in movies very recently, there is a distinct lack of any people of colour playing villains. Now, the reason that I've come to understand that is that it is, in what he said, it seems like it's a bit of an overcorrection from Hollywood's side, and I think that is a good point. But it's become fairly well spread knowledge now that the industry and the studios have guidance that they operate by these days, where they have, I would say quotas, but they definitely have rules that have been put upon them that they have to follow, and one of those is fitting certain diversity quotas, but also what kind of characters you're going to see certain people play. Now, the biggest one that I'm trying to think off the top of my head, where any sort of movie where there's been anyone other than a white male or white woman playing a bad guy, is the proof that I'm just struggling off the top of my head to think of one from more recently is actually quite telling. And what it does say is that they have come to this conclusion, it seems, that they have these mistakes that have been made in the past that now need to be fixed, and the only way they can think of fixing them is to make it so that there are no bad portrayals of people of colour on screen, and that if there ever is any bad portrayals of a POC, then there has to be some sort of reason behind it. It can't just be that they're out and out evil or bad. There has to be motivation, there has to be some sort of anti-hero spin, there has to be some sort of something, event or that's happened to the character in the past, which then explains why they are the way they are now. And it's like, it's inauthentic, it's very forced, and it's just not realistic, because as we all know, I mean, you guys watch as much of this stuff as I do. If you're subscribed to my channel and you watch my videos, I'm sure that's the case. You'll know that these movies are not, they're not reflecting real life, even though this is what the obsession of the industry seems to be now, is that they want to reflect the world we live in today. They want to reflect on screen what we see in the world right now, and that's not even limited to what type of genre you're talking about. It stretches from everything to drama, to comedy, to action, right into fantasy, which is the worst possible platform for that kind of thing, because a fantasy isn't supposed to reflect real life. It's supposed to reflect a fantasy. The clue's in the name. But the point is made, and he's right to a point, but the very wording of the right from the beginning of this article shows that it's not being entirely truthful about why we're not seeing these things that Kumail Nanjiani's pointing out. And it's also unfair to actors like him, because I mean, if he's good enough for a role and he wants to play a bad guy, why shouldn't he get to play one? You know what I mean? Why shouldn't any of these actors get to play a villain? It's insulting to these guys, and it's not fair to them either, in terms of like what kind of work you're giving them. And in the same reflection, it's not fair to non-actors of colour, shall we say, who are just being turned into sort of what would appear to be one-dimensional characters with no real, nothing other to say that they're a bad person. And I mean, I think the latest, and I could probably go into this in a full-on video of its own, is the new Velma series, which has just been released on HBO Max, created by Mindy Kaling, and she, the character that I think most people are saying stands out, even just from seeing the trailer, which I saw the other day, is Fred. And Fred is I don't think he's a villain as such, but he's definitely he's the bumbling idiot of the group, and he's the one who's the butt of all the jokes, and is going to be the one who's, put upon for everyone, and to offload their crappy jokes on. So yeah, that isn't it's not the best example, but it's in a similar vein, in that they're being very one-noted and one-dimensional in how they're portraying certain people on screen nowadays, and we all seem to know what the reason for that is. But I think, as per is always the case, Hollywood are going to be the last ones to catch up to the conversation, and they're going to be the last ones to actually go, maybe this isn't the best way to go about it, maybe we should change it. Yeah, so I wouldn't hold my breath that this will move any needles in terms of what gets made and what kind of characters are portrayed by whom. But the fact that someone like this guy is pointing out, and as you can see, he is an actor of colour, might just get more attention for that reason, and people might actually give his argument a bit more credence than, say, if it was coming from the likes of me, or someone who looked like me. So I'll leave it there, guys. You get the point. It's the same. It's something that I think everybody who watches this channel, and many other people in the sphere, are already aware of and know the reason why it's happening. But the fact that it's been noted and being talked about in interviews by actual Hollywood stars is very interesting, and would also be very interesting to see what happens from here on out. So let's stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my content. Share the video if you would like, and also comment on it if you think you've got anything to add. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.